I have an interesting look or interesting view. I don't know that this is something that we ought to be really praising as much as I see on TV right now, because the reality is we came very darn close to electing a pedophile. And secondly, we actually elected what I called a misogynist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobe. That's who we have as president. So while we pat ourselves on our back for eking out a win for Doug Jones, the right person, I might add, I think we better concern ourselves with a systemic problem within a sect within the voting population. And that sect comprises white men and white women. And this is to all my white friends. You have a lot of work to do. The fact that a pedophile came this close to winning, irrespective of party, should say something. The reality is 63% of white women and 72% of white men voted for a pedophile. When we go back to Trump as well, 52% of white women and 62% of white men voted for a misogynist, xenophobic, sexist, homophobe. That's the reality of the voting population in America today. It has nothing to do with party. It has to do with something else. And it is something else that better get examined, because it's not only hurting the other, it's also hurting the same white people that are affecting this reality on the entire body politic. It is something that we should look at really deeply. And I'm not talking about, let's say, progressives or otherwise, but this is a serious, serious issue. When you look inside of the numbers are dreadful. And I think it's time for self-examination to understand exactly what is happening here, because it is very deep. It's deeper than the Powell Manifesto. I mean, a lot of people want to call it tribalism. A lot of people want to call it all the other isms. When you go home for Christmas and you're sitting around the table, try to figure out exactly why it is that this particular group is somehow looking for a certain type of willful ignorance, because that is affecting the entire country. And my friends, it is something that we better look at, because it is seriously hurting us all, not just the other, but it's also hurting you. The election, it's great that we eke one out, but for those who look at it as something that's going to be positive for 2018 and 2020 and beyond, there's a disease here. And this disease, if we don't work on between now and then, is likely to grow. The numbers are increasing. There's something going on when you look at numbers, that these many people are willing to vote for these types of people in lieu of voting for the progressive types or whatever. It means something. So be happy tonight. We barely won, and we should look at what it means to barely win and what could happen otherwise. We have to remember who the majority in this country is, and a preponderance of the majority acting up. If those people within the northern part of Alabama and the southern part of Alabama decided to come out in the same numbers as black folks came out in the middle of Alabama, we would have been looking at El Senor Senator Moore. To my white progressives, you have a lot of work to do when you go home and sit at those tables. There is a chronic disease here. It's a mental issue. I don't know out of what kind of fear or whatever, but it's a serious issue that we better look at. It's not just going to affect the other. It's affecting everybody. We can't fight that if those heads aren't gotten straight. And with that, buenas noches. Good victory, but 21,000 votes is just too damn close. Have a good night.